Hi guys, welcome back. So we are now going into week 3 of horse shopping, not for the faint of heart. Um, we have, I want to talk a little bit about last week, and I want to go over a little bit more and a little bit more detail about scams. Right now, there's so many scams out there. I had one lady that was looking at pictures of this horse. He was at a board facility that I'm familiar with, and it was super interesting because there was the horse, there was pictures. I could see the board facility in the background. The address she gave me was to the board facility. Um, Everything lined up. It was quite good. Everything lined up, but they wanted a deposit to come see the horse. And that's the problem. So that one was a total scam. I called the board facility, and he said that there had been 5 or 6 different people showed up to look at that horse. That horse had not been on their property for 2 or 3 years. Somebody had stolen this photo off of Facebook and used it. So they were very good at it. I personally, I do know 1 or 2 trainers, not close and not personally, that require deposits. But my personal belief, if they're asking you for money before you see the horse, move on. Just keep going. That is not okay. I have never once asked for a deposit for somebody to come and meet a horse. Now, I'll ask for a deposit if they want the horse, but they're not picking him up today and they want me to take him off the market. That's when you pay a deposit. You pay a deposit if you've come to an agreement and it's pending a pre-purchase exam, so we need to make that vet appointment. That's when you pay a deposit. You don't pay a deposit to go look at a horse. And even the trainers that I'm familiar with that charge this, I say no. It's a no-no. Quickest way to lose your money. So if they're wanting money up front, that's not okay. There's a lot of scams in the hauling in all aspects of it. So there's a lot of scammers that'll try to get you to put a deposit for shipping, things like that. One of our long-term goals, and it's going to take us a little while on this page to get to it, but we're working on it, and it's going to be a long endeavor. But one of our long-term goals is to provide you guys with lists of vetted services. So whether it be a hauler or a vet or a trainer, we eventually would like to give you a list of professionals that we've already vetted, that we know are legitimate, that we know are straight, that they're not going to screw you over. So we are going to work on that. That is going to take a while, especially with this being a wide range of coverage. You know, it's not like my training business where I'm dealing with people that are mostly in this area. So it's going to take us a while to get that together, but we are going to work on that. So anytime they ask you for money up front before you go, don't do it. If they ask you for money for anything other than purchasing the horse, it's a no. So I really wanted to touch on scams again. So going into week 3, our list of things to talk about this week are the questions that we ask our sellers, how to analyze a video. And this one is really important to me, researching the seller. Now, you might have, we're going to start backwards. We're going to start with researching the seller. And so you might have, this could be a private seller, somebody that doesn't sell very many horses. Maybe they just have their one horse and they're trying to sell him. Still research. So social media makes research so easy. Um, I'll throw in a funny story just for funsies. Last year, I rescued a whole bunch of horses from a lady. These horses were living in stalls and hadn't been out in a very, very long time. They were very neglected. They were skinny. They were in super, super bad shape. And I went and rescued those horses. Well, later on, down the road, she started giving me a little bit of grief. Now, mind you, I didn't go there. They called me, and I went and helped these horses. And she was giving me a little bit of grief. And one of the very first things I do if I'm rescuing something, if I can find out who that animal used to belong to, I always reach out to that person first and let them know this is where your critter is, this is what's going on, and to see if those people genuinely care and if they want that animal back. I always believe that it is, it's just good ethics to allow those people to have that. I know that if I was on the other end of it and one of my horses was in that situation that I had sold, I would want to know and I would want to help. So I always reach out to previous owners if I can find that information. One particular horse that is on, that was in the list, the lady actually on one of our group pages here said she thought that because Dr. Lisa and I are doing this page together, that Dr. Lisa gave me some information about where that horse came from. Because that was her vet in the past as well. First of all, Dr. Lisa had no idea where she got that horse. She just took care of the horse. But the funny part about it is I got the information from her. Like, all I did was go way back in her Facebook page, and I found a post where she had a girl riding this horse and had tagged the previous owner. It was so easy. I just went there, I found it, I reached out to the owner. The owner was absolutely devastated that the horse was in this condition and that this was the circumstances. And they did everything they could to help the horse. So I always look out for, it's not hard to research, guys. Just get on that Facebook. I research. If you come and buy a horse from me, guaranteed, I've stalked you. I've stalked your page. I have looked at pictures of every one of your animals on your page to see, are they fat? Are they healthy? Are they loved? I look on there to see what kind of human are you? And this is what we need to do when we go to buy horses. Even if it's a private person, you're going to be able to see, actually you'll probably see more if it's a private person, because if it's my personal horse, I might have been doing stuff with him for 2 years that I've been sharing pictures and videos of things that we've done. But us professionals, you know, we really value our reputation. This is not an industry that you can play around with ethics and values. You have to be as ethical as you can possibly be, and you have to do your very best to do right. So to me, you know, researching people and knowing where these horses are going is important. As a buyer, research your seller. You'll be able to see, I go way back. I go way, way back. You'll be able to see what kind of people they are. You'll be able to see if they have a lot of following and their people are happy and all of their people like the horses they got from them. You'll be able to see that. Take the time to do that. When you call them, talk to them. How long have they had the horse? This question, some people get annoyed at this, and when they call me, sometimes it's not a long time because I have it on consignment, so it came here for the sole purpose of being sold. But a trainer will explain that to you. Ask them age. The biggest benefit to buying a registered horse is that you have age verification. Now there's other benefits. If you're looking to show and you're breed specific or something, then it's important. If you're just looking for a good riding horse, your registration papers are not super important. I ask, any history of colic, any history of lameness, any other illness or chronic problems. How is he with the farrier? How does he load? Is he easy to catch? Cribbing, weaving, do they do any of those things? All of us, what I have learned in this industry is all of us have different perspectives on deal breakers. And typically, what sets the tone for your deal breakers are what broke your heart before. That's usually how that works. So for me, a deal breaker is navicular, because my very favorite horse ever had navicular, and he died younger than he should have, and he retired much younger than he should have. So that's kind of a deal breaker for me. Another person, it might be something totally different. So for me, cribbing is a deal breaker. I have a trainer friend that has a stud that cribs, doesn't bother him at all. Just doesn't bother him. I had a really bad experience. I had a horse many, many years ago that came in and was a cribber, and beautiful, absolutely beautiful horse, and beautiful training, everything. And that sucker literally starved himself to death because he would not stop cribbing, to the point that I put him in an electric pen. But guess what they still have to have? A water bucket. So yeah, he pretty much just starved himself to death cribbing. And so for me, that's a deal breaker. For somebody else, it's not. For somebody else, that's manageable. I've had other cribbers since then that were totally manageable. So deal breakers are things, to me, that for you as a private individual, that's a no-go. So we all get to make our own on those deal breakers. Know what those are before you're shopping. Know what your deal breakers are and draw that line and be firm with that boundary. You have a reason for having those deal breakers. So the next thing, other questions to ask. Has he been places? Has he been hauled? How long since he's been rode? Are we current on all medical care? Dental is the number one most neglected healthcare thing, in my opinion, when it comes to routine horse care, is dentals. So I ask, how long since he's had a dental? Shots, vaccines current, Coggins current. The Coggins is a little bit dependent upon state. When I lived in Colorado, we didn't need them. We didn't have to have them for anything other than when we went out of state. Here in Oklahoma, you have to have them in order to fart. You have to have a Coggins at all times for your horse by law here. So ask those questions. Ask all of the things. Has he bucked? Has he had any issues? When was the last time he went to the vet? All of those things. Any special care needs? Does he have, is he a fat kid that can't eat too much grass and all you have is a grass pasture? Things like that. So some of these questions are going to be very specific to your personal needs and your situation. If you have a situation that you're boarding and maybe your horse is going to be in a stall half of the day, you might want to ask, how does this horse do in a stall? Things like that. So that's our next step, is to ask all the questions. Now, in our first week, we made our checklist and we categorized those. And we had our questions and our list. We had the things that were non-negotiable. And then we had the preferences. So make sure when you're asking the questions, go back to that list and make sure everything on that list is covered. The next step is typically to get videos. Sometimes people get videos before they ask the questions. That's okay too. Things I look for in videos. I am going to post a sale video in the group. I am going to post it right after I post this video. And it is a really pretty bay mare. And what I want you to look at this video. So, I'm going to talk about this video briefly, but when we go over it, when we watch it, I will go into more detail. So this horse came to me as a sale horse. My client purchased this horse without a PPE and sight unseen. So this horse is super lame. We've done a lot to try to get her better. She's gotten a lot better. She's not completely sound yet. We have high hopes that she will be, but she's not. So, mind you, this client paid a lot of money for this horse. This was not a cheap horse. So, when you watch this video, what I want you to see is done in a very professional way. They have a very good quality of video here. As far as like, the lady is dressed very professionally. The quality of the video is good. It's a long video. But what I want you, a lot of people would look at that video and think it's great. Like, that looks really, really nice. What I want you to look at is, and again, I will go over it in detail in that video, but the things that I've noticed or that stood out to me, very little actual movement riding video. So this video, I think, is almost 7 minutes long. A good majority of this video is the horse standing in front of Tractor Supply getting petted by a bunch of kids. Cute. That does me no good. So there's a lot of that. And then here's where it gets real. This is where I believe, and I'm just saying I believe very strongly that this seller knew this horse was lame and intentionally sold this horse as a lame horse. That is my belief. I do not have proof to that fact, but that is my belief. So when you look at these videos, there's almost never a time that you see a nice profile of the horse just moving to where you can really see her movement and her gaits. So when they have her trotting, a lot of times they have her trotting away from the camera, or there's an angle. Or in one portion of the video, she's trotting across this field, and you could totally see her movement, except for the weeds are so high that you can't, the grass is so high you can't see the movement. So all of the things to me just look like they were very crafted to make that horse appear as sound as she could appear. And still in those videos, you can see some lameness, okay? So just because it's a good quality video and that they're presented in a professional fashion, that doesn't necessarily mean anything. These people did a beautiful job on that video. It's very deceiving. And I believe in my heart that that horse was just as lame there as she was when my client got her. They probably gave her some bute or something. But again, I have no proof to this, and I am going to share it. And I might stir up some shit, and people are going to get pissed off. And that's okay, because I already told them that I'm going to call them on it. I got zero issue with that. So, when you look at these videos, really look. Don't look for the fancy stuff. Look for good movement. Look for this horse getting a nice trot, a nice canter. Look and see if he's relaxed, or does he look tense? Is he super sweaty? Has he already had a long day before the video? All of those things. Those are the things we're looking at in these videos. I cannot reiterate enough. Please, please, please do not buy off a video only. There are so many ways to get eyes on that horse, even if you can't make the trip. Take the time. First choice is always to make the trip. Second choice, find a trainer in that area, have them go evaluate the horse for you. Pay for that. It's super, super wise investment. Pay for that. You can FaceTime. FaceTime is great. You can FaceTime and see some more movement. I'm still not comfortable with that on a purchase, but it's a good one. Definitely pair it with a PPE, okay? So when you're analyzing these videos, look for those things. Here's the very first thing I look for on a video. Number one, does your tack fit your horse? Is it quality? I don't care if it's expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be fancy. I want to see that you know how to saddle a horse correctly. I want to see that you know how to bridle a horse correctly. If you see somebody that's selling a fancy show horse and their video shows them loping around in the wrong lead, then you got one of two things. You either have a horse that isn't near as fancy as this people think it is, or they have a human that doesn't know what a lead is. Either could be the case, but that's a flag. Those are the things I look for. I look for tension. I look for movement. Take those videos, share them with your trainer, share them with your vet. Ask your vet, do you see anything in there? Is this concerning? Before you push on. Things like that. So, analyzing your video is very important, but also it's very important to know that this video is just one step in the process of elimination. So the next step, so now we've researched our seller. We've decided our seller is reputable. We've asked all the questions. And this horse, like say we come across a horse that seems like a good fit. We've analyzed the video. Next thing is, let's talk really briefly about preparing for going to see the horse. Next week, we're going to be talking about going to see the horse. I'm going to prepare for that, and I am going to ask my seller to please not have the horse caught. Please not have the horse ready when I get there. Some people ask me that, some people don't. I don't do it. I always leave them where they're at because I believe that catching the horse, saddling the horse, brushing the horse is all part of the process that the buyer needs to see. So that's when we're starting to plan going to visit this horse, the logistics of it all. If you're looking at a horse that's a long ways away, start thinking now before you really look at this horse. What are the shipping costs? What are all of those things associated? So now we're getting prepared to go see our horse. So that's our next step. We're going to talk about that next week, guys. So this week was questions to ask the seller, analyzing video, and researching the seller. Definitely do those things. Those are important. Now is the time to dot all your I's and cross all your T's, and it will pay off. So one of the things that we didn't discuss last week, I just kind of had a brain fart and forgot it, on places to get horses. Rescues. So most rescues have adoptions, and you can get a horse at a rescue. There is a whole lot of good to that and some bad, just like every other thing. Everything has its good and bad in life. That's just life. So rescues. The first and foremost thing, when I have people reach out to me that are total beginners that want to start lessons and want to buy a horse, the very first thing I tell them to do, find a really good local rescue and go volunteer. The amount of things that you are going to learn about horse care and husbandry and all of those things are absolutely invaluable. You will get so much hands-on experience. And you're doing good things. You're helping horses that need help. But the bonus to that is when it's time for you to get your own horse and you volunteered at this rescue, you might have first dibs on a good one that comes in. So that's always kind of nice. I highly recommend all of that. Um, but say you're not in a position to volunteer and you just want to go look at rescues. Don't do it any different. You still want to do your due diligence. You still want to see if that horse is a fit for you. Good rescue doesn't allow a horse to go to a home that it's not a good fit. We will have a whole podcast on rescues and finding reputable rescues. We have some amazing rescues around that do amazing things and really good work. We also have some shady ones around that don't do amazing things and don't really do the work. And I think that goes across the board for everything in the world. So we are going to have a whole podcast on how to scrutinize a rescue and choose a rescue that you want to support and help or volunteer with or donate to, and how to find the good ones out there. So rescues are a great place to find horses that need good homes. But again, still do your due diligence. Still do your PPE. Still go see the horse. Still go meet the horse. Spend time with the horse. Ride the horse. See the horse rode. All the things. Don't change the shopping process because it's a rescue. You still need to search for the horse that's a fit for you. The one thing in my mind that is a huge disservice to the horse is when they get adopted to the wrong homes. That almost never ends up well for human or horse. So to me, a good responsible rescue is going to make sure that you have a good fit for your horse, because they want that horse to be in a long-term home that they know is safe. So that's another good source to get some horses where you can end up with some decent horses. So I'm going to finish this up for today. I will be posting the Bay Mare video right after this, and I will post some of my comments about that. Y'all have a great day. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing here. Don't forget to sign up for our full horse shopping course. It's 8 weeks. There's a private Facebook group involved. You get to go over a whole lot of videos and see what we see. And you get to ask a whole lot of questions. There's a lot of one-on-one. It's only $25 right now because we're really wanting to get you guys this information. So it's $25. It's normally $149, 8-week course. Make sure you get that if you're in the horse shopping stage. Don't forget, guys, we have our super cool sponsors, RideJoy. They are building this super cool app that is perfect for when we're traveling with our horses. Helps us find horse hotels, horse-friendly places that we can stop and walk them and water them, things like that. Events for when we're traveling. Really, really, really neat idea. I'm super excited about it. Thank y'all. You have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy trails.